Good evening and welcome back to the Cozy Sewing Club. So I thought today I would make a video on what you need to start sewing in 2025. This is just things that I think are essential in my opinion, and I'm going to give you a list of things that I personally enjoy having. So if you want to start sewing, you need a sewing machine. So you're going to want to look for one that is affordable, that has like multiple stitch options, something maybe like on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, or even like the likes of Hobbycraft in the UK. They have some really quite affordable ones. Lidl have started to stock a few. Aldi sometimes have some, and they all tend to be really good. Singer machines are also quite good, and they do have some quite affordable ones. Brother as well. I have a Netchi. I got that in Lidl a while back, like a couple of years back. That's done me really, really good, and only cost me like £150 maybe. Yeah. If you can hear a little bell rattling, that is my duck. So we hatched a few ducks. Let me just show you. So this little cutie is Socks. We've got three ducks and a chicken, and my children named them after Bluey, the cartoon. So this is Socks. This is Bingo. Say hello, Bingo. Say hello, Bingo. This is Muffin, because she's a bit crazy, not gonna lie. I don't actually know if the boys or girls yet, but yeah, this is Muffin. And lastly, this is my little baby chicken. She was my firstborn. Bluey. Say hi, Bluey. Yeah, look at Bluey. Okay, back to the video. So I've got a list here of things because I will just forget. So first things first, most important things are a pair of scissors. So I have these. I think I got these from Amazon. I've got quite a few pairs now. I've got a few pairs from Home Bargains, some off Amazon, some from the fabric shop. But you're going to need a good pair of heavy duty fabric scissors. Normal scissors aren't going to cut through your fabric, but fabric scissors are a very must. Also, please don't cut paper with these because they will get ruined and then they won't cut through fabric again. Also, alternatively, if you don't like to use scissors, you can also use a rotary cutter. This is just from the fabric shop, but you can also get these on Amazon. And to go along with the rotary cutter, you are going to need a cutting mat because you don't want to cut the surface. So I got this one. I've got a pink one, got a blue one. I've also got a huge one which stays on my table. That's too heavy to pick up. That's like an A01 or something like that. And that stays over on my table. So that is an essential. Another thing I would say is a couple of rulers, a couple of measuring tapes. So I have this quilting ruler. This is a centimetre quilting ruler. I bought this because I started quilting, but then I've given up quilting because it's too hard. It's not hard. I mean, when you get used to it and you know what you're doing, it's not hard, but it's more time consuming, and I just don't have the energy for it anymore. It takes too long to get a good product, basically. Like, it takes too long to make it look pretty. So yeah. So I got that one, and I have a inch one. I bought this one because I have tape, obviously soft tape measures, and they're good, but also they stretch over time. So when you are measuring out an inch or like 2 inches or whatever, over time that will stretch and stretch and stretch, and then it'll be like you're measuring out 2.5 inches, so it'll be too big. So I've given this is only used for like personal patterns now. So if I'm like making myself a pattern or I'm making my daughter a pattern or something, I will use this because the measurements on the pattern will be the same as this, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I would get a good ruler that's not going to change its size in inches. In the sewing world, inches are just easier to work by. So inches, and I do also have a centimetre one. Also, seam ripper. Now, every sewer knows that a seam ripper is literally a lifesaver, but also a seam ripper is mostly what we use. We use the sewing machine, we use scissors, we use thread, but this is what we use most of the time because most of our projects need unpicking. If we do something wrong, or like our machine goes crazy or does something, you need a seam ripper. Pins. I also do like to use clips because some fabrics, like my glittery fabrics and my nylon and stuff like that, I don't really like to pin them because the hole stays there. So I usually do like to clip them. So pins are very must. You need to pin things. I mean, sometimes I eyeball things and then sometimes it just messes up and it goes mad. So pinning is, don't miss the pinning. You can't have too many pins. Also, something that I really enjoy is this. So there are branded versions out there, but I just got these off Amazon. These are like heat disappearing pens. So if you're drawing your pattern out on your fabric or whatever, as soon as you iron it, disappears. Literally goes away. Some brands, when you iron them, they'll go away, and then like it'll have like a mark or whatever when it cools down, and you can still kind of see it. But I've not had a problem with these ones. These are from Amazon. I will link everything in the description below from where I got things from. So another thing, thread. Good thread. Thread, there's so many different threads out there, but not all of them are good for a sewing machine. So I like to use Gutterman thread, or I like to use this one, which is Courts Moon thread. So I started buying this at the fabric shop, but then I found it on Amazon, and it is cheaper than the Gutterman thread, and it is pretty much like, I mean, I think it works the same. Like, I really like both of them. Obviously the Courts Moon, sometimes they don't have the same colours, so it's good to have like a variety of brands because not all brands will stock the same colours. So these two brands of thread are really good. Obviously, if you want to sew, you're going to need patterns. So some of the patterns I use a lot of Violet Fields threads patterns. I use a lot of my patterns off Etsy. To be fair, I do mostly just use the Violet Fields patterns because I make a lot of dresses for the girls. I've got 2 daughters, so I make a lot of dresses for them. So we'll just stick to using the patterns because they are really good patterns, and they do tween ones and adult versions as well, which is great. But yeah, Etsy, I do get a lot of my patterns off Etsy. I don't really, other than the Violet Fields patterns, I don't really stick to a certain brand of pattern. I just kind of shop around, see what the reviews are, always look at the reviews. Fabric. So when you're shopping for fabric, when you're a beginner, I do recommend sticking to 100% cotton or poly cotton because they don't slip. They won't slip when you're sewing them. They're easy to cut, they're easy to put together, they're easy to iron. So I would stick. What's the matter? Oh, what's up? Oh, she's crying. She's crying. Oh, they've all come to say hello now. It's so funny, they just push each other out of the way. But yeah, so thread. So fabric, I would tend to use 100% cotton or poly cotton. And then obviously when you get used to that, you can go to like cotton jersey, some of the other stretchier fabrics. But yeah, I teach the kids and I only use cotton or poly cotton with the kids that I teach because it is just an easier fabric to work with. It doesn't slip, and yeah, it's just good. But also when you get your fabric, you need to make sure you're pre-washing your fabric, especially like cotton and poly cotton. Make sure you're pre-washing it before you're cutting it out and sewing it, because if you cut out and you sew it and then you wash it, it's gonna shrink. So you need to make sure that you are washing it before you're sewing it. It's a little bit of a nightmare of a step because it's something extra that you don't, that I hate doing. Like, I can't stand doing it. So I do that. Or sometimes if I don't have time and I'm being impatient and I just want to get something done, I'll make something, but I'll make it a size up. So then if I put it in the wash and it shrinks, then it's still gonna fit her. So yeah, so that's that. Also, another thing I forgot to mention is an iron and an ironing board. I would 100% make sure you've got an iron. I don't use an iron in my daily life. I don't iron any of my clothes. I don't iron any of the kids' clothes. I hate ironing. But when it comes to sewing and when it comes to putting your patterns together and making sure your seams are perfect and stuff, ironing is an absolute essential that you have to do. Like, if you don't do it, it's not going to look professional, and it is gonna look messy basically. So an iron, 100% recommend getting an iron. Onto like YouTube channels and blogs. I tend to stick to YouTube because I have a very short attention span and I hate reading too much. So I will link down below some of the YouTubers that I watch. I do like to watch a lot of like vloggy stuff, a lot of hauls, a lot of fabric hauls, stuff like that as well. But like with Wendy, Kalikra, she does a lot of like thrifting, making your own patterns, making your own stuff out of existing clothes, stuff like that. Same with Wendy. She does a lot of thrift stuff, which I love. I do have a few more. I just can't name them off the top of my head, but I will link them below. Do check them out because they are really amazing. And lots of Instagrams and TikToks as well. The list of things that I use whilst I'm sewing, which I really love. These are just stuff that I would recommend to people who already sew, who are very like avid sewers. So I have a projector for my patterns, and it has been a lifesaver. Like, my printer, it will be the death of me. Like, it drives me insane. So I bought a projector to project my pattern as a whole on the floor or on my mat, and I cut out my fabric like that because it's just so much easier. However, it does take a bit of getting used to because you do have to calibrate and make sure that it's the right size. It wasn't too expensive. I think I paid like £40 for my projector, which on the, to be fair, it will work out cheaper than using a printer because my printer itself costs what, like, I don't know how much the printers cost, like 50 quid maybe. I have no idea. So the printer was like that, and I don't really use it often other than some of the homemade worksheets that we print out and some of the patterns that don't have the projector. But then you've got to buy like paper, you've got to buy ink, you've got to buy, like, we've got a finger subscription that cost me £10 a month for the subscription, for like 200 pages a month or something like that. So I mean, that paying for that for a whole year is still more expensive than just buying a projector and doing it on a projector. But also, a lot of the patterns that I use, especially the doll patterns, they don't come in projector sizes. They only come in printer sizes. So yeah, I would, if you're thinking of getting a projector, I would definitely just make sure you're keeping an eye on that. Because it was really frustrating for me to have to go through all my patterns and see which ones have the projector file and which ones don't. Yeah, so I do now only tend to buy patterns that also do come in projector patterns. But yeah, like I said, a lot of the stuff that we use for the kids when I'm teaching don't have the projector file because it's very small projects. It's easier to print on paper. You don't have to stick loads of pieces of paper together. So that's good to have. Yeah, so I also have a planner. I do enjoy my planner. I bought my planner for my birthday, and it has been a godsend. Like, I've just jotted down all my patterns, all my project ideas and what I want to make, and I'm using it again because I am creating a spring wardrobe. I will be doing a video on the spring wardrobe that I'm making for my daughter. for both of my daughters. So that will be going in my planner. Yeah. Also, I would recommend getting a bright light. I don't know, like I use the bright light because I have really bad eyesight. I have bad eyesight, and I hate wearing my glasses. My glasses give me a headache, like literally right here, and I don't know what it is. Like they aren't too tight or anything. It drives me absolutely mad. So I have a really bright thing that I think is really helpful. It's not essential, obviously. It's nowhere near essential. It's just something that I enjoy having. Is I have so it's actually a fridge organizer, and it's just like a clear acrylic like long fridge organizer, and I have one of them, and I have all my like essential stuff in there. So I have my scissors, my clips, my pins, everything that I use for every single sewing project I have in that. And that will just sit in the middle of my table, and then I can just go in and grab what I need whilst I'm doing my project. And then I have also a set of craft drawers that I bought from Hobbycraft. They have been really, really helpful as well. So obviously that's also not an essential, especially if you've only got a very small collection. But me, I've got loads of stuff. So I have a set of craft drawers, and I have like my buttons in the bottom drawer, and then like my ribbons in the next drawer, and I've organised it like that basically. And then my biggest drawers, I have some of my patterns that I've actually printed off and bought. Like I store all my patterns in there. Yeah, so that's it really. That's all of the essential stuff and some of the stuff that I enjoy having. But yeah, I will be making a couple more videos on like how to start sewing and what type of projects to start on. Obviously, I'm not really the person to give the best advice on that because I do have ADHD and I need results quick, and I need really good results quick. So I started off making dresses for the girls because I just thought I need to make something really, really pretty. So yeah, so I just jumped in the deep end really and started making like the most like intricate dresses for a beginner. Like it was crazy. But yeah, but that's it really. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. I am trying to get more subscribers and more likes and watches and blah 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 blah. Stop. Yeah, I am to create a program because that will help fund the classes that I do for the children. I want to be able to make that more accessible. And obviously, the cost is probably one thing, especially in the UK right now. The cost is probably one thing that stops parents from doing what they want to do. Stops parents from sending the kids to a lot of classes because they are very expensive. Like classes are very expensive. Matter? What's up? Huh? What's up? You wanna sit here? Hmm? See, she just loves a cuddle. She literally loves a cuddle. Like I didn't realise that chickens would be this cuddly. But she'll literally sit in there and tweet and tweet and tweet and tweet and tweet and cheep whatever it's called until I actually come and get her. And then when I get her, she's quiet. She hardly makes a sound. Hey, no. I think she's a parrot. She likes to sit on my shoulders as well in the night time, which is so funny. But yeah. Okay. Are we gonna say bye bye? Are you gonna say bye bye? Gonna say bye bye? Oh, look, there you go. She's sitting down. She's chilling. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, if you did, please like and subscribe, and that will very much help my channel and my future plans. So, yes, thank you very much, and we will see you next time. Say bye bye, Bluey. Bye bye.